Hey, this is Kim. Today I have a review of a great new pattern for you today, the Metra Blazer from Love Notions. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. Welcome to my channel. If you want to take your sewing to the next level, this is the place to be. So today I want to bring you a pattern review, one that I am more excited about than any we have had in recent, probably years. So I'm very, very excited about the Metra Blazer from Love Notions. And as an ambassador for Love Notions, I was fortunate enough to get to test this garment. So I'm actually on my third one because I love these so much. If you'd like to see more pattern reviews and tutorials, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and you'll be notified when I post a new video. So if you have not seen one of my pattern reviews before, I have several different categories that I go through, trying to keep my pattern reviews as objective as possible. But when I'm excited about one, it probably will show. But I do try to be objective, and I do try to pass on the cons if there are any, pros definitely, and try to be, on the level with every single pattern review I do. That way you know what to expect from my pattern reviews. I also have a little bit of a tutorial in this one just to show you how to do a few of the tricky parts in this pattern. First of all, the details. The Metra Blazer is extra small to 5X. It is a blazer made of knit. You can use stable knits for it. It has either a shawl collar or wide lapel and is meant as a real easy layering piece. So as far as wearability goes, this pattern is so wearable. I have done this one, and I did the white one back here, off-white one back here, and I'm working on another one here. I just thought I used this to show you a few things. This is beautiful polyester stretch crepe that from Minerva. So you'll be seeing a Minerva blog post on that soon as well. But I wore this one to church yesterday, and it was super comfortable. Easy. I'm there for 2 services because I lead worship, so if I got warm, I took it off. It was just wonderful. It's very, very comfortable to wear. And I think it's just really perfect for dressing up really any outfit. You could wear any kind of pants with it. You could wear skirts with it. You could just put it over a plain dress and, add a little character to it. It's just as at home, I think, with jeans as it is a dress. It's just enough warmth for layering, but it's dressier than a cardigan. And that's, I think, probably my favorite thing about it. So very, very wearable. I just think that there's a lot of places, a lot of holes in wardrobes this could fill. As far as ease of construction, I would have to be honest with you and say that I think this is either a very, very advanced beginner or an intermediate sewist. There are a few tricky parts to this. They are very easy to do once you sort of see how they're done, but I will admit there are a few tricky parts to this pattern. However, the tricky parts, I think, seem a little scarier than what they really are. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to show you a little bit of the tricky parts and how they're achieved. So first of all, these really, really neat. They're inseam pockets, but they have a welt. And so the pocket bag is actually the lining piece. So it's just a really genius way. Tammy has so many genius ways of construction. This is a really neat way to do a pocket. But you do have to get those lined up just right so that the seam meets, so you don't show a lot of the fabric underneath. So I'm going to cut to a little video where I showed you how to do the pocket. All right, and again, I'm going to put the folded part toward the center. And I'm just going to pin that. And then I'm going to sew from here to here. Okay. Once you have the pocket flap sewn, you're just going to clip into the corners, as you can see. And then you're going to go ahead and join the raw edges of the side of the pocket welt and the garment, and go ahead and sew that. Okay, so the other tricky part is just attaching the collar and front to the back. And basically you have to make a pivot at the shoulders. So I'll just show you a little bit of that as well. It's really not that hard. It's just a matter of pivoting and clipping when you're done. And I'm going to make a sandwich out of the back piece. We've got the front collar and center. I'm going to put the back right sides together with that. Then I'm going to make a sandwich and put right sides facing so that the collar pieces are right sides together and the back and the front are right sides together. All right. And I'm going to start with the shoulder. So this little notch that's in the collar piece is actually a shoulder. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pin the shoulders together. And get the other piece as well. And put these together. So I've actually got a sandwich here. I've got the two collar pieces, their collar and center front, and then the lining of the collar and center front, all together. And this is the shoulder. If you get these pinned right, it's not that difficult to sew. All right. Now there's a pivot point here, right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of pull this so that you're pulling the neckline around to sew to this. All right, so you have just a tiny bit of a tail sticking out there. All right, and now we're going to do the necklines of the lining. The back piece, which is got to be pulled around. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get this in there, but all you have to do is kind of pull it. And what you're going to do is eventually you're going to snip that corner. But I personally actually like to do that after I sew, so it lays nice. But you can do it ahead of time. Seems like I lose my places and don't have things lined up right when I do that. See, you're just going to have that little thing sticking out there from the back. And you'll see when you're sewing it, you'll have the opportunity to kind of straighten it out. Once you get to the pivot point, you'll kind of go up to here and then make a pivot and go around the neckline. And we're going to do it all the way across here. I'm going to go take the shoulders again on this side and do this. I like pinning the shoulder parts first. I think it helps get everything sort of lined up, not only in the garment, but also in your head of what goes where. I have a random little piece there that I didn't get cut off. Oh well. Okay, these are the shoulders again. Just going to go right up to the pivot point. If you kind of put your pin pointing right to it, it's maybe a little easier to twist it around. All right, and then we've got the neckline here. So now I'm going to go sew this, and you'll see it's just like magic how it comes out. As far as sizing goes, as usual, extra small to 5X. It really doesn't leave anybody out. I do think it looks good on every size. I've seen it on a lot of different, all different sizes on the tester group, and it looks wonderful on everyone. So don't be put off by it if you're small or if you're large or in between. It's just a fabulous pattern for everyone. As far as fabrics, there aren't any extra materials or anything you need to get, just thread. It does require a little teeny bit of interfacing, but the fabrics can be, I would say, a very stable knit. I would try to stay to Ponte's, French terry, anything like that that has just a little bit of oomph to it. You don't want to use anything that's super limp or drapey, because then it won't have the structure that it has. Now this is French terry, this one that I'm wearing. This one is, actually I'm not sure, but it's some kind of double knit. I think it's some kind of Ponte, to be honest, but it did have that sort of heft I needed to do this collar and have the collar look nice. This one is a polyester stretch crepe from Minerva, and it has a Ponte feel to it as well. Liverpool's a good fabric for this pattern as well, so but stick to something that is more of a stable knit. Stay away from thin jerseys, or sweatshirt fleece would work if it has enough stretch and is basically not too limp. So I think velours and things like that are just a little bit too soft for this pattern. I would stick to something that can show off the beautiful construction of this jacket. It needs to have 25% stretch. So you could possibly, if it had enough stretch, you could probably use a stretch woven. I've not tried it. I don't know that anybody has tried it, but in theory, as long as it has 25% stretch or more, you should be able to use it. You could use a stretch twill or a stretch denim. I would love to do one like that. I don't know that anybody in testing did that, but I think it's very possible. So in summary, I would just say this was a super quick make for me. I just did this much this morning on this one, and honestly, there's not much left to finish this one. Just attach the front sides and sleeves, and I've got to do the top stitching, hems, and sew it up. So that's basically it. So it's a little longer than a t-shirt type thing, but it's definitely faster than any blazer that I've ever sewn, that's for sure. Definitely choose your size by the upper bust because you want it to fit through here. If you have it too big, it's going to look limp and sort of frumpy, if I can use that word. The one thing though, when you're looking at sizing, keep in mind you're going to be wearing this over things. So if you're in between, in this case, usually I would say size down, but in this case, since it's something you're going to put on over a shirt, or it might even be over a light sweater, you want to make sure that you have enough room to get that on. So what I did, and depending on what kind of arms you have, I have larger arms, and I many times have to do a full bust or full bicep adjustment. So in this case, I did. I made this first one without it, and it fits fine, but I thought it would be nice to have a little bit more room in case I want to wear it over a long sleeve top or something. So I did just a small full bicep adjustment on the other two that I'm making. And I also did the full bust option. So basically I made an extra large with a full bust. Normally with Love Notions I do a large with a full bust, but because of the measurements and because of wanting to wear it over things, I am kind of in between there. So I went up instead of down, and I'm real happy that I did. When my husband saw these jackets, he said, "Oh, that's the kind of thing you really like." And he is so right. I love jackets. So he said, "You're just going to be making all kinds of those, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, I am." So I'm very pleased with this pattern, and I'm very happy to be able to show it to you today. So if you like to pick up the pattern, it is on a release sale, so you can go ahead if you'd like to. I do have an affiliate link in the description that you can click on, and that way it'll help my channel just a little bit as well. So sew up that Metra Blazer, and when you do, make sure and share it with us on our private Facebook group. I just love seeing everyone's makes. It's just so much fun. And the address to join our Facebook group is down in the description as well. Have a fantastic day. I will be putting up the second installment of our projector series probably later this week. Have a fantastic day. Happy sewing.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
Oh,